Hey, everyone. Welcome to What Would Dorothy Do? I'm Dorothy Pruder, the CEO and founder of Conscious Co-Parenting Institute and Soul Illumination Healing, our newest company. And I'm very excited to share a little information about that with you at the end of What Would Dorothy Do today. So welcome, everyone. Today we are going to be talking about healing your trauma in order to build trust with your beloved children. So, welcome to What Would Dorsey Do? So, divorce trauma can be very stressful for not only you, but also for your children, and oftentimes can contribute to the alienation of your kids. And this can happen when the other parent intentionally or unintentionally turns the child against you, and then how you show up in relationship with your beloved children. So I want to really dive a little bit deeper into the understanding of the trauma of an alienated parent, in especially when you want to reunite with your child, and how being stuck in the trauma really can hold you stuck in preventing you from recovering your kids. So it's essential for you to take the steps necessary to heal your own trauma from the divorce first. And this is because unresolved trauma makes it really difficult for you to build trust and establish a healthy relationship with your beloved children. So let's dive in. So the first thing I want to talk about today is how trauma affects how we think and behave. Trauma actually changes our brain chemistry and it alters our perceptions of reality. And it can lead us to act out in ways that are not aligned with our true selves and our values. So if you've experienced trauma during divorce or separation or being alienated, it's really important to address these issues before you attempt to reconcile or reconnect with your child. And healing starts with acknowledging that you've been traumatized by the divorce and maybe the marriage and the subsequent alienation. So it's common for parents in this situation to feel hurt, to feel angry, betrayed, and these emotions are valid and should not be ignored or dismissed. However, holding on to these feelings will only make it more difficult to repair your relationship with your beloved child. So once you acknowledge that you have pain and trauma, then it's time to seek help from somebody who is specialized in this family dynamic and trauma recovery. So not just understanding your family dynamic, but how to actually heal it and how to actually reunite you with your beloved children. So reunification and trauma recovery specialists like me, we can actually help you work through these unresolved issues related to the divorce and the alienation and develop coping strategies and skills in dealing with ongoing stressors. So it's important to take responsibility for any mistakes that you've made during the marriage or the separation and the divorce that may be contributing to the alienation between you and your child. And then if there's an opportunity to apologize, apologizing sincerely without expectations of forgiveness or rebuilding the trust, that obviously takes time. We're going to dive a little bit deeper into that. But an apology is only necessary when you've actually done something. So I just want to make sure I'm clear that you're not apologizing for false allegations that continue to cause the family to spiral. Now, don't use that as an excuse to not do anything either. So, moving a little bit deeper, unresolved emotions can also sabotage relationships. So, when we have unresolved, unmanaged emotions such as anger, resentment, guilt, or even shame towards yourself or others, this will affect any of your relationships, any new relationships moving forward, and then any relationships or opportunities you have of building a healthier relationship with your children. So when it comes to healing from trauma, from the divorce, and unresolved emotions can play a major obstacle in really rebuilding trust and reconnecting with your alienated child. So these emotions can manifest themselves in many different ways. Anger towards your ex or guilt for not being able to provide a stable family environment for your child. So if you leave these things unaddressed, these feelings, they become bigger and they'll show up in all areas of your life, and they can sabotage any attempts for reuniting with your alienated children. And one way that unresolved emotions harm relationships is by causing you to act out impulsively. And so, if you feel angry or resentful, for example, towards your ex, you may lash out at them during conversations about, co-parenting or visitation interference or making arrangements and things like that. So this kind of behavior really only serves to really further damage the relationship between you and your children, and the other parent is looking for ways to hold you stuck, and they know what all your buttons are, so they're going to push them. So if you don't heal from the trauma, you don't do your own internal work, then those buttons will remain there and make it easy for them to push them. And so the unresolved emotions can impact your relationship by creating this sense of mistrust. So if you're unable to let go of the past and the hurt and the resentment, this will inevitably color how you view your new relationships, including trying to reunite with your alienated children. So your inability to trust may make it really difficult for them to also trust you in return. And this week we've been posting questions in the Alliance about, does your child trust you, or do you trust your child? And the responses really bring this to light in where we get stuck in our belief system and where we get stuck, like somebody is saying here in the comments, stuck like I'm living in quicksand. I've been talking about that a lot. When you don't resolve these underlying foundational issues, you do feel like you're in quicksand. You're spinning and spinning and spinning and sinking every day more and more deeply into the quicksand. So healing this deeper emotional trauma is mission critical in order to recover your relationship with your children. So failing to address these unresolved emotions will prevent true healing from taking place, both within yourself and within your relationships. So it's really important for anyone going through the trauma of divorce, feeling like you're in the quicksand, or any other major life change, which all life changes are going to feel like that. If you have this unresolved trauma, it's going to make it really hard to go and process these things in a healthy way until you resolve the underlying emotional trauma. So it's crucial for anyone who's gone through a divorce, a separation, who's being emotionally cut off from their children, that you resolve unresolved emotions. So these feelings that are holding you stuck. And then healing really does promote self-awareness. So when we allow ourselves to really examine ourselves more deeply so that we understand what our motivations are, what motivates us emotionally and behaviorally in different situations, this awareness really helps to really create those healthy patterns going forward. So when we heal from our past trauma, we can become more self-aware, and we can identify triggers that cause us to react in certain ways, and we can learn how to manage those triggers better. And this newfound awareness allows you to really approach situations with a level head and make decisions based on what's best for yourself and for your children. So self-awareness is this crucial part of building trust with our alienated children. And I talk to parents all of the time that are in various stages of reunification and working with therapists. And I see people get stuck here a lot because there's no self-awareness, because you're stuck in the trauma. And the trauma makes it really hard for you to take responsibility for change. And so you keep spiraling and spiraling and spiraling, sinking in the quicksand. So healing promotes mindfulness and being present in the moment without judgment or distractions of looking at other things. And mindfulness really helps us stay focused on what matters the most, our relationship with our children. So when we are mindful of our actions and words, we're less likely to act out impulsively or say things that we regret later. So instead, we can communicate effectively with our children, listening attentively and responding thoughtfully, which ultimately leads to stronger bonds between you and your children. And then we start rebuilding the trust, which requires our emotional stability. So as we're rebuilding trust, it does take time, but it also requires this emotional stability so that you're not like up and down and up and down, right? So knowing how you get triggered. Are you a hyper aroused person where you're wanting to get the heck out of Dodge, or you're wanting to fight, 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 or you're more hypo aroused, so you freeze, or you're a fawner, so you're a people pleaser and more codependent. So when we understand our emotions and we understand our triggers and how we respond to them, we can then bring ourselves back into the zone of presence. And when trust is broken, it can be difficult to regain, especially when we are unaware of our unmanaged or mismanaged emotions. So when a child's been manipulated into behaving that negatively and believing negative things about you, then rebuilding trust requires emotional stability. And without having healed from the past traumas related directly or indirectly connected to the separation and the divorce, there might be little chance of rebuilding trust unless you actually do the healing work. And we work with parents all the time that try to jump in the middle. I want to build trust and I want to do these things and I want to communicate. And when you're jumping in those areas, but you have all of these things unresolved underneath, then you'll be standing in quicksand, right? You'll be spinning in a never ending loop and doing the same thing over and over and over again. So it won't matter what the words are or the reunification strategies you have. You have to heal the trauma first. Rebuilding trust requires honesty and transparency. And as a parent who has been alienated, you have to be willing to acknowledge those mistakes that you've made in the past and take responsibility for your part in the breakdown in the relationship. And this level of vulnerability takes courage, and it's necessary for building the foundation of mutual respect and understanding between you and your child, and a solid foundation to stand on so that you're not falling through the cracks and in the quicksand. And so, yes, most of you are experiencing, lack of trust. And when you do the deeper healing work and you understand where that came from, it makes it a lot easier to implement the building trust exercises and skills and communication, because you're standing on that solid foundation. And healthy parenting as a chosen parent really means being present and engaged. And as alienated parents trying to rebuild a relationship with your alienated child after years apart, largely due to the unresolved trauma from divorce and alienation and children picking a side, and oftentimes you become destabilized and dysregulated. And so self-care gets tossed out the window, and healing your own trauma is essential to really build the relationship. And it's also a requirement that you take care of yourself. And you're in a much better position to establish trust and create a healthy connection with your child when you're actually taking care of yourself. So taking care of yourself physically, taking care of yourself emotionally, taking care of yourself spiritually, taking care of your mindset. Being a healthy and engaged parent means being present in your child's life, even during the difficult times. And it requires a level of emotional intelligence and the ability to communicate effectively with your child, despite the past conflict and trauma, and despite any misunderstandings that may have occurred. So this can be especially challenging when you're trying to rebuild a relationship if you have all of its unresolved trauma. If you have issues from your own childhood that you brought into the relationship when you got married and had children with this person that you did, and then the divorce, which triggers the trauma. So to become the best version of yourself as a parent, it's important to prioritize your self-care practices as well. And it helps to work through lingering trauma from past experiences. And by taking care of yourself, you'll be better equipped to handle these challenges that really come up when you're trying to rebuild trust and repairing the damaged relationship with your child. And alienated children are especially skilled at poking all of your buttons because they learn those skills from the other parent. And if you heal those buttons then there's no more button to push. And the way you respond to it is different. And it causes a shift in the relationship. So being a chosen parent requires ongoing effort towards personal growth and development while prioritizing open communication channels between you and your children, including your co-parent. And with patience and persistence over time, along with emotional stability, there is hope for a successful reunification between you and your children. And it does require the chosen parent to lead the way. And once you've done this work, then especially the foundational work, it makes the reaching out to your children either directly or through a third party, like if you're in therapy, without pressure tactics. So you need me, and I'm your mom or I'm your dad, and I'm sorry, and without any of that, so that they know that they are loved unconditionally, regardless of what has happened in the past. And it may take you a little bit of time for you to be ready, and it requires the work. What you don't want to be is the parent waiting around someday for your child to figure it out. In essence, that's empathy flowing the wrong way. That's you saying to the child, it's up to you, not me. You figure it out and then come to me. Then you also, as you're going through this beautiful process, you have to check your belief system. What are the stories that you keep telling yourself that are holding you stuck? For example, beliefs that the alienated parents are often deeply ingrained and can be really difficult to change. And these are the beliefs that are based on the stories that you tell yourself about what happened in your relationship with the other parent, and that the children has become alienated from you solely because of the other parent, and that there's nothing that you can do. And these kinds of thinking errors can be incredibly damaging to both you and your child. And it really creates a sense of helplessness and victimhood, which makes it almost impossible to take action and make positive change in your life. And it reinforces the negative emotions like anger and resentment and bitterness, which then further damages the relationship that you have with your children and other people. So, in order to break free from these limiting beliefs, it's important that you challenge your own assumptions about what happened in the relationship with the other parent. And this might involve seeking out support from an expert like us, a coach, or a therapist if they understand the family dynamic, and helping you move through the unresolved emotions that are related to the divorce and the separation. And generally speaking, or not generally, specifically speaking, when you get to that level, when you start to excavate, you go a little bit deeper, there's deeper stuff about you and your family of origin and what brought you into that relationship in the first place. And it's that area of excavation and healing that helps you create the shift into the chosen parent. So no longer the mindset of helpless and targeted parent, and into the mindset of the empowered chosen parent. So changing your belief system really requires a willingness to let go of old patterns of thinking and embrace new possibilities for growth and healing. And by doing so, then you can begin to build healthier relationships within yourself, as well as the relationships with other people around you, and most importantly, with your children. So, giving everyone involved a chance at true reconciliation, true recovery, and resurfacing of the unbreakable bond, true happiness. And I hear parents say all the time, you just want my kids to be happy. And it's not possible for them to truly be happy living with an emotional cutoff with their beloved parent. That's a trauma. Your child is now experiencing a trauma, despite what they're saying. What they're saying is the pathology being imprinted by the other parent, but they've lost half of who they are, the identity of who they are. And so the trauma continues until somebody has the felt sense of the pain, who says, this is what's happening, and drops in and chooses to heal it. So when you break free from limiting beliefs, it's essential in moving forward to live our lives after experiencing trauma while challenging our long held beliefs that may feel really uncomfortable to let them go at first. And doing so allows us greater freedom by opening up new pathways new neuro pathways and new pathways towards healing ourselves emotionally while we're repairing damaged family connections. So, healing from divorce trauma is crucial for rebuilding relationships with our children. And by acknowledging your pain and seeking professional help, practicing self care, taking responsibility for mistakes made during the marriage or after or during the separation, or even during the alienation process between you and your children without expectations, no expectations of forgiveness or reaching out or any of those things, without any pressure, so that they know that they are loved unconditionally, regardless of what has happened in the past, then you can begin to heal and rebuild trust with your child. Just remember, it's never too late to start working towards reunification. Being the chosen parent means that you need to shift how you are showing up on all levels, okay? Mentally, emotionally, and physically. And it's important to recognize that your child has been through a lot of emotional turmoil and trauma due to the separation and the divorce and the alienation. Therefore, it's crucial for you as a parent to be present and engaged in rebuilding trust with them. And to rebuild trust again, it's essential that you take care of yourself first before trying to reconnect with your alienated child. And this means taking the steps of healing any unresolved trauma, any of those issues, so that you don't have them come up and interfere with your ability to be fully present when the time comes for reunification. So, by working on yourself first, you'll be better equipped and have a much better chance of showing up in a way that really fosters connection and understanding, empathy and compassion, unconditional love for yourself and your beloved child. And what I'm sharing with you today in trust is really one of the step 6 in the reunification roadmap reconnect program that we offer to our parents, that we guide through a really beautiful, deep healing process of healing emotional trauma, learning the right skills for rebuilding trust and resiliency and relationship, learning how to communicate properly so that you can move into the third phase of reunification. And reunification is really teaching you how to have low pressure reunification strategies and having a plan. Most parents are kind of just, shooting in the dark, throwing spaghetti at the wall without an actual reunification plan. That makes it really challenging for the child to recover, right? For the child to be in a container of safety and trust. And so through our Reconnect program, we actually guide you through a beautiful process of rebuilding that strong foundation, reflecting on the trauma and helping you heal that, moving into I'm sort of reflecting and then moving into the rebuilding stage and then into the recovery reconnection stage. And we help you also ally the professionals, so the people that are working with you, and leveraging them so that they can help you go the distance and empowering you with those resiliency skills so that you can actually go the distance. And the ball is in your court, not their court. So you're back in the driver's seat. So I also said at the beginning of today that I wanted to share an opportunity of something new that we have recently launched. And for those of you that haven't worked with me or not in the Chosen Parent Collective, this will be brand new for you. But one of the things that we've been doing is we started a new company called Soul Illumination Healing, and we are helping parents, or helping people, but really our people, our clients, our parents and adult children, and we're really helping you go deep in the healing process. And a few years ago, I was introduced into the plant medicine world, and little did I know that the plant medicine was calling me forward as a medicine woman. And we've been guiding parents and adult children of this family dynamic through beautiful sacred ceremony of healing this really deep transgenerational trauma at the core through the ancestral lines with the participants. And so today I am I'm sharing with you an amazing opportunity for parents. We're actually hosting two upcoming retreats or ceremonies for one for dads and one for moms. And the first one will be, I couldn't decide who to do first. So we decided to do dads on Mother's Day weekend and moms on Father's Day weekend. And the reason we decided to do that is I feel like that if you have your children or you're getting them on your parenting time or there's the opportunity for that, I don't want to interfere with the opportunity to celebrate moms on Mother's Day and dads on Father's Day. So we are flip-flopping and we're going to do moms on Father's Day weekend and we're going to have dads in a small intimate group ceremony on Mother's Day weekend. So if you are interested in doing the deeper healing work, if you've ever thought about doing healing with plant medicine, maybe you've already done some healing with plant medicine, you're curious about it, we will be guiding a small group of people. It'll be me and my team. So I have a team of medicine people to be very well taken care of. We will come together in a beautiful sacred ceremony of going deep into the medicine space of really understanding that those core beliefs and those core transgenerational traumas that oftentimes are felt but are unknown because they're part of the unconscious mind and coming down through the generations. It's how we get stuck in this family dynamic. So if you are interested, we would love to talk with you and extend this opportunity. So somebody on my team, the first page we have up right now, because Mother's Day is first, is fungi healing for the fungi, for healing for the fungi, which is the dad. So the first ceremony will be dads. It will be Mother's Day weekend. So it'll be Friday and Saturday. So you will come in on Friday afternoon. We will have ceremony Friday night. And then we will have integration, a big breakfast and integration on Saturday. So if you're interested and you're a dad and you're ready to re-invoke your fungi, please click the link here in the chat and fill out the application. We are asking for a refundable deposit. So it's a very small group and it's first come, first serve. We will be vetting the people coming. So if you don't qualify or it doesn't work out or you don't want to do it, that's fine. Then we refund the deposit. But we do require a deposit so that we know how many people are coming and we can go through the process and we know that you're serious. So dads first, Mother's Day weekend. It is May, I think 10th and 11th. I think it's Friday and Saturday. And then moms will be the following month, a private group with moms. So for alienated dads and alienated moms, we're going to bring a small group. It's going to be with me and my team, and we will hold a beautiful ceremony for you and guide you through a process. So our container is a little bit different it's different than a lot of other medicine spaces. We are very focused on healing the transgenerational trauma. So a lot of what I'm talking about in this Healing Your Trauma today really comes from our families of origin and things that get passed down through the line. So if you're interested, we'd love to hear from you. We'd love to connect with you. Spaces are very, very limited. They will be very small groups so that we can give you the individual attention that we provide in a very sacred container of deep healing. So I want to thank you so much for your time. We are very, very excited about these new opportunities that we're bringing forward for doing the deeper work in healing. If you're interested in the Reconnect program, so I've been talking about Reconnect, you're not interested in plant medicine or the medicine work, but you're interested in doing the work, creating the foundation, rebuilding skills and reconnection, reuniting with your child, I also offer healing through that program. So that is a guided program where we do healing sessions, a couple of healing sessions a month and group Q&A. So group healing sessions and Q&A without the medicine. So if you're interested in that program, then my team will put a link in the chat for that as well, and connect with somebody on my team about that process. If it makes sense to you or you want to know more about that, we'd love to talk to you about that as well. So thank you so much for listening. Remember always, you must have peace in order for you to have peace out. May you all find the space of healing within yourself so that you can be that beautiful, soft place to land as the chosen parent for your beloved children. So thanks so much. I hope you all have an amazing day. We'll see you next week. Bye for now.